Hey, what's up guys? This is Cole with CJC Off-Road. I have something really cool to show you guys today. This is going to be kind of our first foray into the GM HD suspension market. You guys have seen a lot of cool Ram and Ford builds come out of our shop here at CJC Off-Road. What we want to do is also cater toward the GM guys as well. We receive a ton of requests about these trucks. So much so that we actually went out and purchased this new GMC 2500 AT4 with a Duramax in it. Today we're going to go over kind of what's available for these trucks now and what we typically recommend for a nice all-around setup that doesn't completely alter what these trucks are. So as a lot of you guys probably noticed, these GM trucks actually have independent front suspension, so it's a lot different than the Ram and Ford trucks we typically put videos together on. And so with that in mind, there is an entirely different approach to modifying the front of these trucks. So what we have on this truck here is Cognito's Elite Series King 2.5 system. So what that entails is front torsion keys, front upper control arms, and front and rear King 2.5 shocks. With these Elite King systems, we actually went ahead and sourced custom anodized black King shocks. We actually stock these here at CJC Off-Road. So if you're trying to kind of personalize or give more of a custom look to your build, we actually do have these black anodized King shocks available for these GM trucks. These also allow for the option to run a compression adjuster. What the compression adjusters will actually do is allow for more support as the shocks actually compress. So say you're driving the truck off-road, you hit a big hole, having the compression actually ramped up a little bit will allow for more support inside the shock to actually slow down how quickly the shock compresses. For typical daily driving purposes, we generally leave these compression adjusters wide open, going for as smooth a ride as possible. Now, the keys to making the front of these trucks feel good are actually two things. One is increased droop travel, and the other is increased damping in the shocks. So you might hear complaints about these trucks online. Okay, that GM trucks feel a little bouncy up front or a little boaty up front. And so what we're doing with these systems is the upper control arms are actually allowing for more droop travel. The longer King shocks are allowing for more droop travel. With the limited amount of suspension travel that you have with independent suspension, this is actually a big enhancement because you're actually allowing the suspension to actually better control the truck over different types of terrain. In terms of damping, you figure a small 2.0 factory shock on these trucks. It doesn't take much to compress that shock. The result is kind of a bouncy, wishy-washy feel to the front of the truck. Introducing a 2.5 King shock to this mix actually helps substantially in controlling basically how the front end cycles, and what these two things translate to is a much more composed, more comfortable, and just all around more predictable ride onto the front of these trucks. Out back, these trucks have traditional leaf springs, so nothing too crazy here. So what this Cognito Elite system includes is rear King 2.5 shocks. So with that, you actually have the option to basically leave your factory rear springs on the truck with these larger shocks. The larger damping does help the back of the truck to feel a bit more controlled, a bit more composed over rough, washboard roads. For this particular build here, we opted for full progressive rear replacement leaf springs. What these do is actually help to soften up the overall ride. We felt that the factory springs on this truck were a little bit stiff, so opting for these full replacement leaf springs at the back of the truck actually is a little more compliant. So not only are we gaining more articulation, we're gaining more droop suspension travel. Pair that with the more controlled King shocks, you just have an all-around better feeling ride out of the back of the truck. A lot of people ask when it comes to these softer rear springs, well, what does that do for my towing capacity? So out of the box, these softer rear springs do reduce the rear weight capacity by about 15%. So we actually went to our friends over at Full Travel, who make some of our favorite airbags for the Ram and Ford applications. And they actually used this truck for prototyping and developed a full system for these GM trucks. What this entails is an airbag setup that goes hand in hand with your full progressive rear leaf springs. And basically what it allows you to do is take full advantage of the ride quality that softer rear springs offer, but then also giving you the option to increase, basically to add support to the rear of the truck when you're towing to help counteract any kind of capacity loss by the softer rear springs. This is the only system on the market that actually allows for full up travel and full droop travel with airbags without losing any bit of suspension travel that the softer rear springs offer. No one else makes anything like this on the market. Piecing together a generic airbag setup and Daystar cradles, you're still going to lose some up travel. So what's really cool about these full travel setups is you retain full travel, as the name implies, and actually still get to take advantage of the softer ride quality of the softer rear springs. But then when it comes time to tow with the truck, you slide the aluminum puck in to the bottom of the airbags and you have more weight capacity to tow with the truck. Now on to one of our favorite parts of this build. Visually, it's the wheel and tire combination. Not only do the wheels and tires you select impact how the truck looks, they can also greatly affect how the truck rides. So what we have here is 20-inch trail-ready simulated beadlocks in a gray powder coated finish, paired with 37, 12.5, 20 Toyo RT trails. Really good looking combination. Does take quite a bit of fitting to really make this setup work on these trucks. These trucks really do not just easily bolt 37s on the same way Ram and Ford trucks do. That said, it is doable. We basically paired on this truck Cognito's inner fender pullback kit with some aftermarket caps at the bottom of the fender flares, and that allowed us to actually, basically make these 37s turn lock to lock without encountering any rubbing driving on the road. A very important element of making these wheels and tires really work for you in terms of ride quality is going to be one, the sidewall size, and two, the tire pressure. So when running a larger tire like a 37, whether with an 18 or with a 20, you're actually gaining a good amount more sidewall than what the truck came with stock. What that translates to is better small bunt compliance. So basically, the more sidewall the tire has, the better the truck will feel over small imperfections on the road, ultimately translating to a better overall ride when driving the truck. We hope you guys enjoyed seeing kind of what these trucks have to offer. We feel that this is kind of the way to go if you're looking to kind of retain the factory architecture and suspension geometry of these trucks without kind of significantly altering or cutting up the truck in any way. You're gaining the ability to really take the truck, longer term on washboard roads, so that would really push the stock truck. The truck feels very comfortable, very planted, and just overall a whole lot more durable underneath with the suspension setup. There is a whole lot of options and aftermarket support actually out there for these trucks. So over time, we're going to kind of dive through what we typically recommend, what we don't recommend, and kind of try to help you guys figure out, the nicest options available for these trucks. So as of now, we feel that this is really, as good as you're gonna get for a nice bolt-on setup. We really like how it drives on this truck. Everyone here at the shop enjoys driving this thing. It's a really cool looking truck, nice driving truck, steers really nicely as well. So we're very happy with the outcome so far. That said, there is more coming down the pipeline for these. So we will be covering that, in the future as these videos progress. So we really appreciate you guys watching. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, and thank you so much.